A challenging stage in traditional animation filmmaking is the storyboarding phase when the animator designs creative cinematic composition for intended emotion expression. Machinima filmmaking allows for a more flexible and cost-effective exploration of creative cinematic composition. However, the process remains challenging as filmmakers have to explore and evaluate endless design options. To address this challenge, we introduce Cinemassist, a tool that helps users develop camera trajectories in a 3D animation by generating multiple composition proposals for creative exploration. The Cinemassist interface comprises three components: a control panel for configuring the input 3D animation and high-level semantics, a design panel for designing cinematic compositions at frame level, a storyboard panel for visualizing recommended composition sequences at scene level. Initially, the user can drag the arrow along the timeline of the animation to preview the entire animation. On the control panel, the user can select a default control camera and two characters of interest in the scene, and specify the animation's genre and emotion type for the following design. Then, the user shifts to the design panel and starts designing the cinematic compositions for the given animation. In particular, the user can move the timeline arrow to a time point and insert a new keyframe by clicking the plus frame button on the panel. Instantly, our system generates a set of camera poses visualized as light bulbs in the scene view. Whenever the user clicks a light bulb in the scene view, its corresponding 2D composition will be displayed in the cinema view in real time. Once a desirable option is found, the user can confirm it by clicking the Apply button, which will add the chosen option to the ongoing sequence of compositions. Then, the user moves on to the next design iteration by identifying the next keyframe. By clicking the Review button, the user can also quickly explore and evaluate all the suggestions, displaying their corresponding 2D compositions in a row ranked by their quality scores predicted by our model. Our system also predicts whether the suggested compositions start a new shot. Alternatively, the user can click the To Storyboard button that adds the ongoing partial sequence of compositions into the storyboard panel, where our system is able to recommend the remaining compositions at scene level. Then, after the Recommend button is clicked, our system automatically samples a sequence of uniformly spaced keyframes using the interval over the specified time range and suggests multiple sequences of cinematic compositions. The user can move a satisfying sequence to the design panel by clicking the Apply button, after which the user can continue iterating on it via the frame-level design exploration. At last, the user can export the resulting composition sequence and review the animation rendered under it in the cinema view by clicking the Play button to get a quick sense of its overall quality.